think it's on.
Oh dear. Okay. So, first of all, we are Svena and Cameron.
Was it?
I used to be Cameron's host mum.
And I used to be her au pair.
It wasn't that bad.
No.
So the reason that we're doing this is because we keep hearing horror stories about au pairs and host families. So we kind of wanted to bring our points into it because we are kind of...
A success story.
Yeah.
A big success story.
And, well, we got a few notes, so we'll be checking them.
We're not actors.
Are you sure?
I think so. Okay, so we're starting off on intros, so pretty much to introduce who we are.
I'm Svena. I'm 33 years old. I have one little munchkin who's going to be 2 in November. And then there's her 18-year-old sister who's a best friend to us both.
Oh, yes. And in case you didn't know, we're actually currently in Iceland. So my au pairing adventure has been in Iceland. I've also au paired in Spain. So this adventure is going to be mainly about Iceland. We are going to talk about our different au pair experiences. So, yes. And then there's me. I'm Cameron. I'm from Scotland. Best country in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 20 years old. Turned 20 while I was here. Not when I was with the family, but I actually didn't work while I was here. So that was definitely a good thing for me. Good experience. But we're going to continue. And we're going to talk about the first communication, how we met, how we got to know each other. So...
Well, I put up an ad in June on aupairworld.com. Basically just telling roughly about our family. We had a bit of a different family situation when I started. Because I was living with my daughter's father. And his then 5-year-old daughter came to stay with us every other week. But Ulfrun, the little one, obviously was with us every day.
Oh, yeah.
I put up the ad in the vague hope to find someone that we would actually get along with and really like. Yeah, oh yes. I got a lot of messages, mainly from girls. I was not specifically looking for a girl or a boy. It really didn't matter to me. However, we came to the point of like just crunching it down to a few people that we really liked. And one of those persons was Cameron. So we sent him a message asking if he would be interested in going to Iceland because Iceland was not on his list of countries that he was interested in going to.
Yes.
But we sent him a message in the wake hope that he would actually reply. And we got a response. And we moved our communication quite swiftly to WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, Facebook.
Yeah.
Skype. Everything.
Yeah, but we never actually spoke on camera. We just...
Yeah, we never had any, we never had, video contact. Like, we didn't actually see each other until...
The day we met.
Yeah, we'd seen photos, that was it. And we'd messaged each other for, how was it, a month.
It was July and August, so it's 2 months that we were messaging, but I offered you the job within the first 3 weeks.
Of course.
So
pretty much how I found her is I'd actually just returned from Spain after having a not so good au pair experience. We do get them, it happens. So I'd came back, got back to Scotland, just started to do work for the summer just to make some money. I immediately found, not Svena, but I actually went back on because I wanted to get a good experience of au pairing, because obviously I'm one that strives for not perfection, but I want a good experience of something. So I went back on. I was actually meant to try and go to Finland. It was actually my first choice, if not Sweden. And then out of the blue, I got this woman messaging me from Iceland. And in the back of my mind, I was like, oh no, it is Iceland. I did not plan on this one. But at the same time, I was like, Nordic country could work. So obviously, we started talking.
Got
on really, really well. And it was funny because it was her other daughter, Pedla, who demanded to add me on Facebook because she wanted to know me because I was going to look after her little sister. So we got on extremely well. And then obviously we got to September. I'd booked my flight way before I'd spent like £200 on clothing for Iceland. That's how much I wanted to get here. And then eventually I was on the plane. It was a good ride. Got there, and obviously when you first meet your family, it's like...
yeah, it's kind of like that as well as the host parent.
You freak out a little bit.
Yeah, I had a miniature heart attack en route.
I know. And obviously when you meet the family or they meet the au pair, obviously you have got your first idea of what they're going to be like. It may not be how it's going to turn out in the future. Obviously we were relatively quiet at the beginning, but that definitely changed.
Really quickly. So, in the first week, we went to my parents' farm. I was working that weekend, so you took care of Ulfrun for that weekend properly for the first time. So him and I did not really have time to spend with each other, but during the ride down from the farm, I don't think we stopped talking for like a semi-second.
Yeah, we just kind of kept blabbing on.
Yeah.
Continuously.
And that was kind of the beginning of the friendship that we actually have. Cameron is not, like, I do not regard him as to a former employee or anything of that sort. He is a part of our family. He is a big brother to my daughter, and he's one of my best friends. So, this can work if you want to, but it's all a matter of actually communicating. And also I think it was one of the first things I said to Cameron when he agreed to come to Iceland was, if there's anything, just talk to me, tell me if there's something wrong, if there's something that we can change, or if we can't change it, we'll just off this whole contract and I'll sort you out so you can get back home.
Because it does happen that a lot of au pairs and families, obviously you can kind of get along on the au pair to host relationship, but I don't find that much fun. I find if you're just seeing it as a work thing, you're not really getting the whole pure experience of the country, and you don't get to experience the family, you don't get to experience what they're doing, like how they live. That's what it's really about. It's about embracing yourself into their culture, into their family, being a part of their family, and just kind of getting it all.
Also, what we did was we agreed upon within that in the first week we will not make a contract between us. That we would not be making a contract unless he was absolutely sure that he wanted to stay with us. So after that first weekend away, we made the contract, which, was started the day he arrived, really. Was supposed to end in the end of May, but we altered it because Cameron got offered another job, and I was going on summer holiday anyway, so this is all about communication. Yeah, communication and compromising.
Yes. Your English is getting good.
Oh, I certainly hope so.
She actually lived in the UK, so she speaks perfect English.
Except when I'd have to pronounce some words that I just like.
Yeah, like the characteristically.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a beautiful word.
No.
So yeah, it's all about making sure you have got all the ground rules set. Once you're definitely comfortable about them, you're comfortable about everything, you make sure you read the contract, because some people miss really important steps in the contract, and then they go on and then they start complaining about this is not what I signed up for, etc. But then you look back at the contract and it's all about the fine print. You have to read the fine print. If you don't, something's gonna go off, you're not gonna enjoy it. Eventually there becomes conflict with you and the family, or the family and the au pair, and it just results in arguments. I've seen on YouTube there are so many arguments between au pairs and host families.
And not just on YouTube, because we know that from both first-hand experience, and we've seen people in our environment going through that.
Well, one of my friends in Reykjavik, she's from Taiwan. She's actually just been through kind of a bad au pair experience, but luckily, she actually managed to find a second family in Reykjavik, and she's just moved there. I just messaged her seeing how she's doing. She's actually doing really, really well. The kid's adorable. I love that. Like, I've never met the kid, but it's adorable.
It's so cute.
It is. So she's
However, our baby is always going to be the cutest.
Of course. This is a thing. Au pair parents and au pairs will always say that their kids are cutest. But our one kind of is, so... You don't get an argument in that one.
So what was next?
The next one is about... Well, we've kind of done that one.
Yeah.
Also respect. It's all about respecting the families, because if you start trying to get away with things, if you start disrespecting the family or the family disrespects you, that's also when it starts breaking down and the arguments start. So yeah, communication, respect, just being able to talk to each other about everything, doesn't matter how good or bad it is. As long as you've got it out in the open, you can solve it. If you keep it hidden away, then there is going to be problems. So the next one was bonding and activities. So like we said, we pretty much became family really quickly.
And we've gone through quite a few things.
Yep.
Within the first month and a half of Cameron being in the country, my dad died. So he went through that period with me. He went with me to the hospital to say goodbye to my dad. He came to the memorial and funeral. So he's been with me through all of that. And it's been... I could not imagine having to go through that without having you around.
Like, especially, like, obviously for the childcare, because obviously you need to have a bit of free time when something like this traumatic has happened. You need someone just to give you a little bit of freedom, just to be able to clear your head, etc. But also being there as a friend, as a family member, it's extremely important. Like, her mother, I walked into the chapel?
Yeah.
And I was holding her hand on the way in. We were at the very back. And her mum doesn't speak English. And I only speak a bit of Icelandic, average Icelandic.
But your you guys can communicate like nobody's business.
We just have that connection. We don't need to understand everything we're saying to each other, but...
You understand.
We understand each other, nonetheless. Which is such a really nice thing to be able to do. I absolutely love this when it comes to families, just being able to get on with them and help them when they need it. I'm a very empathetic person. Helping people is pretty much what I do. That's why I'm au pairing. So it's not even just the childcare, it's just being with the entire family. Never just about the kid. If it's just about the kid, then it's really weird. Because it's almost like you're isolating yourself just to that part of the family. Whereas if you open up to the entire family, such amazing things can happen, whether they be good, whether they be bad. As long as you're there, then I find it an absolutely amazing experience.
Same thing here. I had a very vague idea of how this would pan out. And obviously we did not know about the dramas and difficulties that would be coming in our direction. But we kind of just handled it. We dealt with every situation for itself.
And we never really rushed into it. We always had to think about it. We always discussed it. Whether it was like, if it was something to do with my side or if it was her side. Obviously with a funeral, that's something you always have to sit down and think about and discuss with other people, which we all did. And we all got through it. Obviously it was tough, but...
I think it brought us together even more.
I was like a little elastic band.
Yeah.
So, do's and don'ts.
Oof.
I think the don'ts are probably more important here, just because there's a lot of like really serious things that can happen. Obviously, with your au pairing, your family is going to care about you. They are going to want to know where you are and what you're doing, just as a concern. If some of them are a bit more free flowing, Sveina is really free flowing with me. If I want to go out, I just need to ask her. It's all about It's all about the communication, like I said before, letting them know where you are.
There's also like when you asked me the first weekend that was your weekend off, if you could just go and venture, I was like, bye, have fun. Just let me know if you're alive.
Fill up the car.
Exactly, that was basically it. But it was all about just actually talking. And another thing with the don'ts, you really have to think about the action, what your actions will do to everyone around you, really.
Yeah.
Because, for example, say if you gone out for a big old party and been taken by the coppers or whatnot, that would have caused a bit of a problem on everyone's end, really.
Yeah, of course. And that's not really something you want to hear your au pairs doing. Oh yeah, by the way, they were caught by the police.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a good impression.
Also with don't lie. Don't be disrespectful. I say in any occasion, be honest, because honesty is always going to be better than telling a little lie.
Absolutely.
Big lie. So do be honest. Don't fall into the big black hole that a one little lie can turn into.
And another one, and this is something that I'd actually found out from another au pair mum, because I've got a few mums that I'm friends with, and it's a thing that you should not do. It's when you're on your days off and things like that, don't hide in your room, don't run away. Don't run away, that's pretty much it. Because that's almost an insult to the family. It's telling them that you don't want to be with them in your free time. Most of the time when I was on my days off, I'd still be around Sveina and Ulfrun and Petla, and we'd be hanging out. I'd go out and eat sushi with Petla. I fell in love with sushi when I came here because of her.
Sushi is good, man.
It is good. So yeah, there's definitely a really important point. Like, you are working, fair enough, but don't run away on your days off because it's just insulting. I hate doing it. I never ever done it unless I let her know I was going somewhere.
For me is like I would like to know if he was actually going somewhere, just to know if I should expect him for dinner or any sort of activities that were going on, like the family bowling. That was fun.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we suck at bowling.
When Ollie's fell in the bowling alley.
Yeah, that was kind of epic.
Yeah, her sister tried to go and catch a ball on the alleyway because it didn't quite go, and she did not realise that you're not meant to stand on the actual
And she kind
alleyway.
of went.
And it was funny. We were struggling to breathe with that. It was great.
So, as you may have noticed, Cameron did not just become a part of my family, but my family's family. Two of my sisters refer me as a brother.
Adesso Elisa.
And my brother refers to you as his, well, boyfriend-ish.
Yeah.
Well, my brother is as straight as it gets, but Cameron is his husband.
Yeah, we're in a kind of an unofficial marriage, but, you know, I'm working on it.
Oh.
Here's hoping.
Oh, well, you'd be officially an official part of the family then, but on paper.
I think we should talk about the previous experience before we talk about the aftermath.
Yeah. Well, as an au pair, I've had two experiences. One of them was when I was 19 and I went to Austria. I went to the family on the premises of that I would be taking care of the kids in the morning, and I will be working with the horses in the afternoon, pick up the kids from school and take care of them till maybe 4 in the afternoon. All weekends were supposed to be off. And we did a contract, we had a fixed pay, blah, blah, blah. However, within the first week, they decided to deduct my pay because I didn't iron the socks perfectly.
They deduct you for...
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Not ironing the socks and the underwear in the perfect manner. And, excuse me, I did not polish the shower head, Cameron. So basically...
See, that's reasonable, that's why she got the deduction.
Oi! That was not the end of that work relationship, though. I just decided to try and carry on. It wasn't until someone broke into their house and they accused me of assisting the burglar that I had enough. I went to my hostess sister, who's an amazing person, and stayed with her for a couple of weeks because I was working on her horse for her. And after that I left. But also what I should add, within that time that I was working for them, I was training the horses and riding them and whatnot. I had an accident which pissed them off royally because I ruined their day off. Because I was laying on the forest ground, calling them, letting them know that I had a very bad accident.
Oh,
so yeah. So I got to the hospital and the doctors were quite surprised that I was actually walking. And they expected me the day after to go with them to a gala thing to take care of the kids. I could barely walk or stand or anything at all because Quasimodo and I could have been siblings at that point.
That would have been quite funny to come an au pair for you then. Hello, Quasi.
Oi. And then there's my second experience. First off, the family seemed really nice. They began really well. It started off well, we got on well, and then came out the problems. Their kid was unruly at best. So he ran amok and you were not really allowed to tell him off or scold him or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, and when the kid actually broke my glasses and they refused to pay for it because it was my responsibility to let the kid actually grab my glasses off my face and then smash them. That was kind of the beginning of the end on that one. So I decided to give it a bit of a shot because I'm not willing to give up. I really wanted this to work out. But they kind of got more and more disrespectful towards me as the kid ran more amok, and I had to actually tell them that this did not work out. They kind of lost it with me. So I thankfully could go up to London and stay with a couple of friends and be with them for a couple of months while I found another job. Never did au pairing after that one though.
So then we go on to my au pairing experience. So I used the same website to find my previous family. This family was in Valencia, Spain. So this was about, I think it was about March that I'd found out about family and we were talking. And then given a couple of months, I'd arrived in May. So we'd arrived in May and I'd got my big welcome. It was quite cool. They had a little sign saying my name. I thought it was adorable. The boy was 7 years old, so he was in this sort of stage where he knows who he is. He's starting to know who he is. And so he was kind of his own person. And so when I was experiencing au pairing there, things were kind of going wrong almost at the get-go. One of the big things is that it was a Catholic family in Spain. And no offense to Catholic families, but This one in particular was making me cover up my sexuality, was making me cover up, and this was the main one, it was covering up my religion. Being a Catholic family, they were not having any other religion in the house, so I had to make a complete fake story about having my communion as a Catholic, which I am not. And the boy, like, I had to tell this to the boy so he would believe it, so essentially I was lying from day one, which is what I absolutely hate doing, and it meant that I could not be myself, and if you cannot be yourself in a family, it's really pointless to do so. The days were interesting. I never really got days off. In fact, I only recur one day off in the 4 weeks that I was there, which I wasn't a fan of. During the day, I'd take the boy to school, which was about an hour and a half to get there, and about the same time to get back. What else? So then I'd kind of have the day off to myself. But then, if it was a day off, fair enough. But then I would be told I had to be back for 5 o'clock, because what I wasn't told about was the disabled son. So the disabled son was over 18 years old. So technically I shouldn't have been in care of him. But I had to come home at 5 o'clock with a key, because he wasn't given the responsibility of a key. I was, so I had to come home to let him in. And then after that, it was really just pointless to go out again. So that was one of the big things. I wasn't told the entire story. I was not told about a disabled son. Sweetest guy, but I was lied to. I was told I was also in a full family, so mother and father. Realised the father wasn't really in the picture. He was still part of the family, but he was never there. How it broke down was really interesting. I had actually gotten a rash, an illness, and it covered part of my neck. And if anyone knows what a love bite is, then you will understand this. The mother thought I had received a love bite on my neck, and she was extremely offended by this. And she told me that I had to get out as soon as possible. She was offended by it. She wanted to discuss it with her family without my presence. So I actually told her I would leave the next morning. So this was on the Sunday we were discussing this. Monday morning, 6 o'clock, I'd packed my bags and I'd left the house. I was gone. And then after that, I'd had to figure out on my own how to get home. So I actually ended up staying in Valencia for 5 more days, which was an amazing experience, by the way. Like, it was accidental and it wasn't meant to happen, but I enjoyed that last 5 days just exploring, being myself. It was great. So obviously, we've both had bad experiences. It does happen. We have seen that a lot of people do experience this. It's not fun, but it's not the end of the trail. There's always more families, and each one brings their own game to the park.
I reckon that my experiences kind of gave me the idea of what I wanted not to do as a host parent. That's the reason I also affirmed with you and we decided not to do the contract right away, was to give you the chance of backing out without there being any consequences at all to either one of us. And actually being able to look back and see how my former families behaved and were kind of gave me the initiative to do as well as I could, and then even try and better that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're taking care of the most precious person in my life.
Oh yes. If I'd done something wrong, I'd be 6 foot under.
7.
Maybe 8, just to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you could just dig me under one of the car tunnels. Easy enough.
There are a few nice spots in that tunnel.
Or just throw me into the fjord, like.
Now you're gonna float up then.
Gas,
listen. Not if I stab you in the belly a few times in lungs.
We're 100% normal. Do not worry. And also, our timer is about to run out, so we are probably gonna have to continue this on a second video.
But for this part, thank you and goodbye.
Hey, hey.
Bye.